Hello everyone, this is Paul Villalobos, President of Tech Mobile Reviews, and today we're doing a full review on the BlackBerry Z30. Let's get started. So we're going to start off with the design of the BlackBerry Z30. It is definitely a sleek and thin device, which really impressed me when I first held the device after I took it out of the box. The BlackBerry Z30 has nice rounded corners, feels very comfortable in the hand. It feels very manageable with one-handed use, and it also feels very compact and it has nice heft to it to let you know that the phone is really in your hand. That's really nice to feel as well. Now, the BlackBerry Z30 features some carbon fiber-like backplate that feels very nice and adds to the professionalism of the handset. Now the silver strip that runs around the phone and the silver tip on the bottom of the Z30, that's actually plastic. I would have wished BlackBerry put in more of a metal finish or more of a premium design to the BlackBerry Z30, but overall the BlackBerry Z30 is a nicely well-designed handset. Moving along to the display of the BlackBerry Z30, we have a 5-inch 1280 by 720 Super AMOLED display. So first off, it's definitely not 1080p, which is what we've been accustomed to most modern smartphones coming out in the market. Since it's 720p, I definitely can see some detailing in videos and also in some zooming in closer to text. It's a little bit jagged and kind of fuzzy. Games, pictures looked great. Since it's a Super AMOLED display, it has nice colors, look very vibrant. They have that nice pop to it. It looks really appealing, and the side viewing angles are also excellent on the Z30 as well. So, although it might not be a 1080p display, the screen does a really good job nonetheless. Now we're moving along to the performance of the BlackBerry Z30. The BlackBerry Z30 boasts a 1.7 GHz quad-core Snapdragon S4 Pro processor. Those were back in the times when you really had to say a lot to say the processor. That just shows you how kind of old the processor is compared to today's processors like the Snapdragon 600 and 800, which are some of the most newer smartphones in the market to date. With that said, the BlackBerry Z30 still handles everyday day-to-day tasks very nicely. From gaming to some web browsing, the BlackBerry Z30 has a nice fluidity. What I did experience some lag, however, is in the multitasking and also playing heavy performance intense of games such as Angry Birds Go and also Real Racing 3. But it was still playable. It is nothing too bad, so the performance is actually pretty good on the BlackBerry Z30. Now the battery is non-removable. It's an 3,880 milliamp hour battery. And now throughout the day, I'm doing social media, I'm looking at my emails, I'm watching YouTube videos. I do a lot. So I'm kind of like a moderate to high user when it comes to using the BlackBerry Z30. And at the end of the day, when I plug it in at around 11 o'clock, um, I get around 20 to 50%, 15% left on the BlackBerry Z30, which is really nice, especially for me. Of course, battery life will be vary from each user, but you should expect at least a day's worth from the BlackBerry Z30, and that's pretty good. Moving along to the camera, the BlackBerry Z30 has an 8 megapixel rear camera with LED flash. Now, as a whole, pictures looked detailed, but then some pictures didn't, and some pictures looked great in this lighting, and then some pictures didn't look great in this other lighting. So you can see where I'm going with. There's these varied results, and the camera is definitely not going to get you very constant results, especially when taking pictures outdoors where the lighting situation might change, as the BlackBerry Z30 doesn't seem to do very well in low light performance. Autofocus took a little bit of time as well. Pictures as a whole looked a little bit out of focus, overly saturated, and sometimes faded. So this is definitely not a camera up there along with the flagship smartphones today. But it gets the job done for that Instagram or Twitter moment, but definitely not a camera that you should rely on 24/7. Now we're moving along to the software, which is my favorite aspect on the BlackBerry Z30. Now the BlackBerry Z30 runs on BlackBerry 10.2. It's the BlackBerry's own operating system, and I have to say I'm rather impressed. You could and BlackBerry 10.2 is like a combination of both Android, Windows, and iOS. It blends all those three operating systems together, and we have this wonderful, very brilliant operating system that, in my opinion, is very much competitive up there along with Android and iOS. Now, this OS is gesture driven, so it will take a couple of days to get used to. I know for most average consumers who are not as tech savvy, will definitely be turned off that they will have to learn how to use the OS for a couple of days before they get the hang of it. It's certainly something that is learnable, something that they shouldn't be holding back on, because I only took like 2 days for me to work my way around the OS, and I have to say, after using BlackBerry 10 OS, I don't really want to go back to Android or iOS. With that said, there are features such as BlackBerry Hub, which basically is a centralized location where all your emails, notifications, your social media all go into that one little spot, the hub. And you can access all of your content right there. You don't have to open up separate applications to get to each of your emails or social media. So I liked how everything was just right there. You can easily access it. So that was a wonderful feature that is probably one of the main selling points on the BlackBerry Z30. Speaking of main selling points, the keyboard is absolutely phenomenal on the BlackBerry Z30. The BlackBerry Virtual Keyboard has nice spacing alongside the keys, so adequate room for typing, and then you get the magic really starts to show up when you're typing something on the keyboard because it uses predictive typing and it basically gives you suggested words right when you're typing, and you only have to do is swipe up from the key that has the word that you want, and voila, you basically have a whole sentence just swiping up keys. Very simple, very easy. And the BlackBerry did a terrific job on the keyboard side, and that feature alone is one of the pivotal reasons why you should get the BlackBerry Z30. Now, not every OS is perfect, and the BlackBerry 10 has a major flaw that has been keeping it from being a success, and the problem is the lack of application in its App Store. The BlackBerry App Store doesn't have a lot of major titles, except for Twitter, Facebook, and a couple of Angry Birds games. But aside from that, there's no Pandora or Instagram or Candy Crush Saga. So people moving from iOS to BlackBerry will definitely feel a little lost because not every app is going to be available here on the App Store, and I think that's what's keeping the BlackBerry Z30 from being a major success is the lack of apps. The BlackBerry Z30's got a score of 8 out of 10. You can see the breakdown of that score on our website and the written review. The link is in the description. If you liked this video, I sure hope you did. Please give us a like or a thumbs up, leave us a comment. We'd like to thank BlackBerry PR for sending us this review unit, and we'll see you in the next one.